everyone, it's Sherry Vegas, and in this candle making tutorial today I'm going to be showing you all of my tricks and tips how you can use wax to make an ice cream topper that looks exactly like real ice cream. These are some of the previous ice creams that I have made using this technique, and I love this technique because it's pretty much foolproof. It looks a lot harder than what it actually is. So these are some really pretty ones that I've done, and you can make them any colors and you can do as many colors as you want. So this one's got 3, this one's just got 2 different colors, and it's very subtle. And what I love about this is you can just add it onto any candle and it instantly makes it look so good. So this is one I've done previously, and then I've also added like a little chocolate bar in, and I've also done, and this is another one I've done where I've added some extra embeds in and a gel wax drizzle, but it just takes any sort of normal soy candle and just makes it look extra special, and you can do whatever colors that you like, and it's super easy to do. So the amount that I'm going to be using will make 1 large scoop like this, or you can also do this amount and make 1 small and 1 medium. But yeah, so if you want to make a large scoop, this is kind of the ratio that you need for that. So I'm going to start off by adding in some soy wax and weighing that out. So for this one, I'm going to need 60 grams of my soy wax. It's a tiny bit over at 64, but that's not going to be a big deal. And then I like to use either clear beeswax or paraffin wax. This just helps the wax sort of bind and stay strong so it can become the ice cream. And the reason why I would use either beeswax or paraffin wax is they're both quite hard setting waxes, and soy wax is quite notoriously soft, especially if you're using like 100% soy wax. So you definitely need to add something in to help you along to kind of form that shape. So that was exactly 40 grams of paraffin wax, which was quite lucky. So then I'm going to add this onto the heat, and it's going to need to melt down probably around 80 to 85 for it to fully melt and combine with the beeswax and the paraffin wax together. So my paraffin and soy wax has fully combined. I'm just going to check the temperature. Cool, and it's just above 90, so I'm gonna turn that down. I'm gonna turn it off actually and let that cool down. I want it to be around 60 before I start pouring it out and start making my ice cream. So I'm just gonna let that gradually cool down. You can either keep it on the hot plate or you can move it over to one of these cork mats. They're very helpful because they're heat resistant. So I'm going to just transfer this over to a cork mat so it will cool down a little bit faster before I start doing the next step. I'm just going to be measuring out some fragrance. I am using the French vanilla ice cream from Aussie Candle Supplies, just because I feel like it's quite fitting. And I'm going to be measuring out 8 grams. Now you can obviously change up the ratio of your fragrance because most soy waxes can handle up to 12%. So if you wanted to, you can make it a little bit stronger, or you can make it a little bit less, or just not add any fragrance in at all. If you are using this ice cream, this wax ice cream to add on top of an already fragrance soy wax candle, or any sort of candle, then you might not necessarily want to or have any need to fragrance the ice cream. It's completely optional whether you want to add fragrance in or not. So if you've got, you know, fragrances that might be clashing or it might be a little bit too overpowering, sometimes it is nice to fragrance it to match in with the flavor of the ice cream. But it's a completely optional step whether you want to do it or not, because you might have fragranced your base something completely different and you're adding the ice cream topper on and it's not necessarily going to match or going to smell nice as they melt together. And then I'm just going to add that fragrance in and give that a mix through. And it's sitting about 62 at the moment, so it's nearly time to take my wax and add it into 2 cups. With this, you've got 2 options depending on how many colors you want to do. I'm going to just do 1 color, which then I'm going to divide off just a little to do a red, and then I'm going to add that back through and make that into sort of a vanilla berry swirl ice cream. But if you want it to have equal amounts of both color, then you would separate them and pour the wax equally into both cups. But because I want the majority of my wax to be vanilla, so uncolored, I'm going to mix that into 1 cup first, and then once that gets nice and thick, I'm going to transfer a little bit over into another cup and add some color into that. The reason behind this, instead of just splitting it off, is this will start to set a lot faster because there's going to be a smaller amount of wax than what's going to be in this cup for the vanilla. So that way I don't want to have that one setting way too fast and this one setting slowly. If you were doing equal amounts of all the colors you wanted to do, then you could definitely separate them. But if you are doing uneven amounts, do it all in 1 cup first, mix it up, get it nice and whipped, and then transfer it out and just add your color in to the wax once it is transferred out, because that will be a lot easier process and you won't have your wax setting at different times, because we need all of our colors to be at the sort of the same process of setting for this technique to work. And then just using a paddle hop stick, I'm going to start to mix. You want to continuously mix throughout this process. If you stop mixing and then leave it for 5 minutes and come back, when you go to remix your wax, it's going to be really lumpy because parts of it would set, parts of it won't. So by continuously stirring it throughout this process, it's just going to mean that the wax stays, it will slowly get thicker, but it will stay nice and smooth and consistent the whole way through. We don't want any big lumps or bumps. So it's been about a minute, maybe even less, probably 30 seconds, and that wax is already starting to set and build up around the side. So as you mix, just scrape down the edges too, and make sure you're getting the full area of the wax. But it does start to set quite fast, especially because it is winter here, so it's getting quite cold. And my wax will start to set a lot faster than what it does in summer, just because the temperature of my room is colder in general. So it's starting to get close to that thickness. So I'm just going to transfer a little bit into my next cup and add that color in. So just about that much, because I'm just doing a very small amount. And then I'm just going to be using some liquid dye. Just a touch. The liquid dyes are very strong. So this is the consistency that you're after, where it's thick, it holds its shape, but it's still really moldable, like it's not set. You can still easily manipulate and move it around. That's the kind of consistency that you want. Now, to get that ice cream shape, you can either use a silicone mold that is shaped like an ice cream, or you can get one of the traditional old-fashioned ice cream scoops, the one that has the little bit here that clicks over. You don't want to get one of sort of the half curve ones. It won't give you the same sort of effect. So you definitely need to get one that has that little click over, and you can get them in all different shapes and sizes. So this one's a large, this one's a medium, like that clicks over. I have found some on Amazon, and I'll link it in my Amazon storefront if you want to find them, because they are a bit hard to find these days. And then I'm going to start placing my wax into my ice cream scoop, and you can start placing it however you would like. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to start pushing it in. If you're doing like a swirl, you know, you can add a little bit here and there. Definitely does not have to be perfect. I normally have 2 cameras when I film, one that's above and one that's on the side, but the camera that is normally above, has broken. Well, it's not focusing properly, so I can't use it to film. So I'm actually having to film on one camera and constantly move it to the different areas, which is so much more effort, especially when you're doing something like this where it's quite a time sensitive item. So sorry guys if I'm not getting like the best camera angles throughout this. I try to always film off 2 cameras just because it just looks better. It's also a lot easier because I want you guys to see like the best parts, you know, from different angles so you can get some really good views, because that's what I prefer when I watch like a tutorial online. I really want to see what someone's doing and see it clearly. But it's been a little bit hard, a little bit trying without having 2 cameras set up, to constantly have to move one, adjust the tripod and put it into place. So I'm doing my best for this video, but I cannot wait to get my camera back from getting fixed, so that way I'm not constantly having to move one camera around to get the different angles. Now I'm just piling it up nice all over the top. If it's a little bit over the edge, it's not a big deal, but you want to have a decent amount of volume over the top. So you can see like that I've got a good amount sticking out. If you do it perfectly flat, you're not going to get as cool a effect for the ice cream. So we want it to be nice and high, sticking over the top just like that. And then on any sort of surface that you want to use, something that will be non-stick. So I've got, you know, just plastic tablecloth down, which will be fine to use. I'm then just going to flip it over, smush it down like that. And I'm going to let that sit for probably a minute before I then go to lift it up. And you can see that I've got a little bit left over. So I could have made maybe a small one from the leftovers, but generally this amount does a big one quite nicely, or a small and medium ice cream scoop. So these 2 would be perfect for the amount of wax I melted, or just one big scoop. And once it's been about a minute or 2 minutes, depending, I'm just going to lift it slightly off the table, and I'm just going to start to click it out, and it comes out just like that and looks perfect, just like an ice cream would. Now, if you do want to use this as it will be going in the center of your candle, then all you need to do is, while it's at this stage, is just place a hole down the center, so that way you can pop the wick up through. Just like that. If you're going to leave it to just be a little bit of a side decoration onto a candle, or if you want to do double scoops or anything like that, you don't have to place a hole for the wick in it. If you have any other requests for candle making videos, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'm always open to show you guys new techniques and tricks, or any sort of area that you kind of want to get a bit more knowledge on. I can do a tutorial on that. So feel free to leave that in the comments below. And if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe, as I post new videos every single week. And I've got a full playlist on candle making, so definitely go and check that out. And if you got benefit from this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. But thank you so much for watching.